I want to talk about level of detail for polygon objects, such as this monitor stand. Level of detail is sometimes confused with fidelity, but they're not the same thing. Fidelity refers to how well a 3D model resembles a real object, but level of detail simply refers to the density of that object. How many sub-objects or components does it have? And adding more components or sub-objects, such as polygons, does not necessarily improve the result. Let's take a look at this. In the Modify panel, I've got a bend and a taper modifier applied. And in the box primitive parameters, I've got length segments set to 30, so we can resolve some curvature here. Let's get in closer, especially in this left viewport. Control, Alt, and middle mouse and zoom in. We can see that we've got kind of a blocky structure here. It doesn't look very curved. But if we increase the number of length segments, then we'll get a better approximation of curvature in that area. Those are the length segments, but of course we also have width and height segments. If we increase the width segments, then we'll get more divisions in the other dimension. And we can get in closer there with Control Alt middle mouse in the perspective view. Now we've got almost square polygons everywhere on the model. With increased width segments, we've got a lot more polygons, but that is not necessarily a good thing. Just because we have more polygons doesn't mean the object has better fidelity. And in fact, when this rendered, we would not be able to tell the difference between a width segments of 10 or 20 and a width segments of 1. That's because this is a perfectly flat area. If I bring width segments back down to 1, I'm not affecting the shape of the object at all. So if I increase the width segments, I'm adding polygons for no reason. Likewise, with the height segments, if we increase that, we're going to get a lot of very small polygons on the edge of the object, and that's not going to increase the fidelity because that's a flat area. We'll set the height segments back to 1. Level of detail, or LOD, is a very important concept, and it's not the same as fidelity. We've got a medium level of detail for that object, but it's actually going to render fairly realistically. We can check in on the polygon count using the statistics in the viewport. If you click in a view to give it focus and press the 7 key on your keyboard, you'll see some statistics in the upper left corner. This is telling me that I currently have about 14,000 polygons in the scene. But what I'm really curious about is the number of polygons on this particular object here, the monitor stand. I want to reveal the statistics for the selection. That's done from the viewport configuration window. Click on the plus sign in the viewport and choose Configure Viewports. Go to Statistics and enable Total plus Selection and click OK. And now if we reselect our monitor stand, we can see that it's got a total of 740 polygons. If we go back down to our box primitive parameters and increase the number of width segments, we can increase the number of polygons. But again, just because we made this heavier did not mean that we made it better. I'll bring the width segments back down to 1. We'll set the length segments to a round number of 100. All right, with an optimal level of detail, we've got a polygon count around 800 or so. Let's click in that viewport to give it focus and turn the statistics back off again with the 7 hotkey. That's how to optimize level of detail for parametric models, so we don't unnecessarily bog down the system or increase render times with too many polygons.